Okay, so I've got my trusty little penknife here, and I'm actually going to break the seal very gently because just in case I don't like the camera for any reason, I am allowed to return it to the store, but I am hoping not to. So let's just very, very gently break that seal. Okay, there we go. And let's see what we've got inside, because this is a camera that I've been waiting for quite a while, but didn't know if I was actually going to buy it. But as with everybody that's probably interested in this camera, it's an interesting proposition, isn't it, with all its specifications and everything. So first of all, we've got all the paperwork. We've got what's this here? So it's talking about power cords. We've got something about Wi-Fi and the One Touch NFC. That's another thing this camera has. I'm not sure if I can make use of that. I've got an iPhone, so I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing for me or not, but Wi-Fi I'm certainly expecting to work fine. We've got, what's this? So another thing about Wi-Fi. Something about Capture One, which is the editing software you can use. It's an alternative to sort of the Adobe products, and they do actually make it purely for Sony as well in some cases, which this I'm guessing it comes with, or maybe it's just some documentation about the software, I don't know. I'm not too bothered because I'm not going to probably use that anyway. I've tried it, I find it a little bit difficult to use, although I do believe that the results in editing can be actually better with Capture One apparently. So here we have some blurb on what lenses and accessories. Now, people often say that Sony don't have many lenses available for the FE mounts, which is the full frame mount that the A7, A7R, A7 II, A7S and A7R2, this one, they use the FE mount. There's also other mounts available, but I mean, if you look at that, that's quite a lot of lenses, but most of those are actually for the sort of APS-C size sensor cameras that they do. And you've got all these accessories here. I find Sony accessories very expensive. The only thing that booked the trend recently was I bought a screen protector from Amazon, and it was actually a Sony product, and it was £10. Now it's quite a lot of money for a screen protector, but it's fantastic. It has Sony written on the back of it, so just look that up if you type in, I think at the time I typed in RX1R screen protector and Sony one just came up. So really, I thought that was quite a decent price for that, which is unusual for Sony, without a doubt. Now, that is a manual. I'm sure it's about 10 different languages, if not more. But that's pretty big. I'm just trying to think. Here's a USB. Here's a USB connector, and basically that's the thickness of that. So that's pretty thick. So I don't think I'll be making too much use of that unless I've definitely got a cup of coffee in my hand. Let's see what we've got here. So now in the sorry, just bashed the camera. Right, here we go. Here we are getting to the camera and the other bits now. So we have a strap. I never use those things. I've got my own strap that I actually prefer. I don't really know why they enjoy sticking the name of your camera on, because for me personally, if I'm walking around a city, I don't really want people knowing that I've got a Sony A7R2, because you're just going to find that one person that does know what it is, know the value, and that would just be a bit unsettling for me. Got all the charger, some weird bracket thing, not sure what that is at the minute, and here's the actual camera. So that's the main bit, that's what we want to see, that's what you want to see. So I'm just going to shift that over there, shift the box over there, and it comes in a very, very high quality, not really, paper bag. Wow. And here's the actual camera. So I'm quite, it's not massive, it's not, I mean, I've got 60, but like I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a proper, an actual proper review, sort of comparing the size of the camera to my other cameras. I mean, I've got RX1R, X100T, 6D, 7D, even a little Pentax Q thing somewhere. So we'll have a look at the comparison sizes. So we've got, so it's basically the same layout as sort of the other models, isn't it? A7, A7R2, I think is probably the most similar. I've actually bought a case that's on the way because I believe that they're the same sort of shape, and hopefully they are, because it's cost me money for the case. And if the case fits, that'd be great, because I just like to keep things looking as pristine as possible. So here we are. So we've got the flip out screen, I guess. So the camera itself, good quality. I mean, it's definitely a solid body. I mean, it's metal all over. That's a good, decent grip actually. It feels good in the hand. And when the A7 and A7R first came out, they had this shutter button was in a really awkward sort of place. You had to sort of like contort your fingers to actually be able to use it. Really strange the way that they did that. But in this case, it's actually, that for me personally, I mean, I don't think I've got the biggest hands or the smallest hands. I'm pretty average sized. That's actually very comfortable. I can see myself being quite happy with that. We've got quite a few custom buttons on here. So custom 1, custom 2, custom 3, custom 4. So we'll be able to adapt that. But I don't know, lately I'm sort of in the camp of the less buttons the better. I was actually considering the Leica Q. I think this was then announced maybe a few days later, and that sort of made me think, well, the specification of this is so far superior to the Q, and if I want 28mm, I can always buy a 28mm lens for this. So that stopped me buying it. But the Q, they've gone the proper Leica route, and I know not everybody likes Leica. I do. I think they're incredible, and I think the image quality, the tiny little lenses that produce the most amazing sharpness, it's unbelievable. You know, but the great thing about this camera is that I can use those lenses, possibly. I'm yet to see if we still have purple fringing on the sides, because on the old ones, if you bought an adapter, something like this, and you put your lens from a Leica M series or something like this, which is actually a 12mm Voigtlander, what happened was you would get, on one side of it, you would get sort of a purple cast, and you couldn't really edit that out. You could only do so much with it. So, you know, this camera, with it being backlit, the sensor, I believe they've made improvements to that. So we'll see what the outcome is. I'll try and get some pictures sorted out, and you know, obviously I want to use this as quickly as possible, because it's I'm just a big kid basically, so in my 30s and still getting super excited about things like this. But you know, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So so we've got the battery compartment there, so that's separate to the memory card, which I would guess is there. Yeah, so that's on the side. So that's good if you've got the camera on a tripod and you run out of memory card space. It never happened to me, but people seem to prefer it when it's a separate door. I'm personally never really bothered. It doesn't seem to make a massive difference to me. I think sometimes something that takes 3 seconds to do, it seems to be a chore to some people, whereas me personally, I'm quite happy really if it's in one place. It just means less places for water to get in and stuff like that. On the side we have a plug-in power. We've got a microphone jack, and a headphone jack as well, so that will please the video people, because you can do both at one time. You can listen to what's coming in, I guess, and going out. We've got the selector button, the mode selector, so we've got aperture, PASM, the usual. If you've used the camera in the past few years, I'm sure you'll be familiar in some way with this. You'll have seen it or something. And P is program mode. It's basically a not fully automatic, but pretty much mostly automatic mode. Then you've got aperture priority. If you've got a lens, say it's a 2.8 something like that, then you're able to blur the background. You know, it's the usual thing. I don't know why I'm going into that. You probably know what it's about. Manual, obviously, you know. Then you've got your custom modes as well. So that's you know, that's great, because you can just sort of choose some settings and then you know, save them to 1 and 2, and then away you go. You know, should you want to just quickly recall those settings. We've got video, I'm guessing, panorama, Scene modes, if you want to use it in auto and sort of let the camera do the work, you know, say it's fireworks or a sunset or a beach, you know, then you've got those options with it. What else we got? So power buttons around the shutter button, which I always like because it's nice and handy. It's, you know, your finger's going to be there and you'll just quickly flick it on and away you go. So good stuff. We like that. And yeah, so let's get a battery out. I think I saw one in here somewhere, or I'll just use one of these aftermarket ones. We can give it a go. Hey, I'm sure it'll work. So I hope I've got the right ones. Not even tried this yet, obviously. Right, so pop the battery in. Yep, looks good so far. And you have to actually, when you put the door down, it doesn't lock until you actually lock it yourself, so that's probably a good thing. And let's switch it on. So we've got all the menus. Yeah, I am in London. Well, I'm not in London. I know a lot of people think only London exists in England, but I'm about 200 miles north of that, and now we are into the main menu system here. So what have we got? I mean, that's the thing. So you've got a menu button up here. Now what I'll do is I'm actually gonna stop the video now, and I'm gonna cut to the actual menu system.